Part two of marriage. See, marriage was ordained by God. A lot of stuff we look at that God do and we don't understand it. And we say, why God do this? He don't want us to have no fun. Everything that is fun, everything that I enjoy is sin, is immoral. And why can't we have fun? Well, because God understands. He understands the nature of man. He understands the makeup of man. He understands the desires of man. And he understands what man gonna do. And God give you guidelines accordingly. That you won't get in trouble, that you won't get bogged down, and that you won't give up in your mind. See, the devil will trick you, and he'll cause you to give up in your mind when you go too far out here. You can get too far out here in the world doing your own thing, and you can't get back. You don't know how to get back. Then you get depressed in your mind. We see this week an actor, Robin Williams, died, commit suicide, what they're saying. And it looked like this man had everything to live for. He had money, had kids, had a wife. Looked like he had everything to live for. Well, I said that to get to this point. We have to be careful how we allow our mind to be entertained of what we do. Because the devil have a way to get in your mind and make you feel like life ain't worth living. But when you got a family and you got a reason to live, they give you a reason to live, to do something. Most people say, I'm doing this for my family. A lot of people say, well, if one for these kids I had, say, I wasn't going nowhere till I had these kids, and I done had these kids, and that's the best thing ever happened to me, and I love my family. See, that's the way we're supposed to be. And you want to commit to them. A woman, when she's seeking a husband, you don't go to a bar, a juke joint. You don't go to places where people drinking and doing drugs or trying to pick up somebody, a one-night stand and so on. But you seek God and you pray, God, you send me a husband. I want a husband. Some people say, well, I want a husband, but God just gonna have to send him to me. Well, you gonna have to desire a husband, and it's not wrong to choose your husband. But if God tell you that he's not right for you, don't override that. Because if God tell you, look, back off of that, because that one is don't believe what you believe. Otherwise, unequally yoked. It's a couple ways. It's a few ways to be unequally yoked. You can be a Christian and you can marry a man that don't believe in Christ, don't believe in God, don't confess God. You are unequally yoked. And when you go to church, he gonna be going out juke joint. He gonna be going out with a lady friend because he don't believe in what you believe in, and they're gonna bring hardship upon you. You gonna lay woke. You gonna lay awake many night crying because he won't go to church with you. He won't support you, and you have this big argument. You never support nothing I do. Well, you unequally yoked. Then you go, you marry somebody 40 years younger than you. Men, we bad about that. Go get somebody 35 years younger than us, and we unequally yoked. We unequally yoked. I don't care if they in church and they preaching and falling out, but they 35 years younger than you, you're going to have a problem. That's the human nature of the thing. You older, you don't care for the same thing that they care for. You done got old enough to know that material thing is not the end of all. It don't make up everything. It ain't what it cracked up to be. But they 35 years younger and they got things in their eyes. They want material things. They want a nice home. They want this, they want that, which is good. But you don't kind of slow down a little bit. You got more in common with her mother than you do with her because you and her mother you may be 10 years older than her mother, but you sort of in the same generation. But the one 30 years, 35 years younger than you, 20 years younger than you, don't understand where you're coming from, and you're gonna have conflict. So, and we say, well, I'm having all this problem. It ain't worth marrying. Well, because you ain't made a good choice. You make a good choice about your money. You seek aid for your money, CDs, put your money in. You get an accountant and you get a money plan because you want your money to produce You buy stock in companies because you want your money to do something to work for you. You don't plan all of this, but when it comes to the most important thing, you gonna have kids by? Who gonna raise your kids? You get kids and you say, well, this woman ain't no good. She won't stay home with my kids. Well, you should have thought about that before you sort of hooked up with her, became interested in her. We think about everything else. You sit down when you go to a restaurant, men and women, and you get a menu and you decide what you want. Then you look at your health issue. You know something you can't eat. Like you may want a good thick pork chop, but you say my blood pressure is too bad, and if I eat this, it's gonna run my blood pressure up. You look at the red meat, you say, well, I can't eat much red meat because I got gout, and it's gonna hurt my gout, and I ain't gonna be able to walk. You look at something else, you say, for one reason or another, I can't have this. So you look at that menu, you choose what is best for you that won't upset you. It should be the same way when you get ready to get a husband or a wife. You choose somebody that is compatible with you, that won't cause all these problems, that you got to stay in the prayer line. You got to, you married and you go to church, man or woman, all the time, but your partner never comes. And you sitting in church, everybody else paired off, husband and wife, and you sitting there by yourself. You crying, you don't want to go home at night because you ain't got no peace in your home. But then if you marry and marry right, you get God consent when you get ready to get married. See, your find is gonna fade away. Your personality gonna fade away. A man, a big chest and strong arm gonna get soggy, saggy, and they're gonna fade away. But his love, her love won't fade away if you love each other, if you work at loving each other, if you work at doing what God said do, then you can overcome. You got people that just say, I don't know what it's gonna take to get this man saved, get this man right. Pray for me. Well, you seek God. You ask God to work out things for you, but you also have a mind of your own, and you know what to choose good and bad. You don't go and eat something that is poison. You learn not to do this. This is the same way in relationship. You got people, married folks in state penitentiary. Why would you go in a state penitentiary and say God gave me a husband? You say, well, God could. Well, that's 1%. If it is anything, it's 1%. It ain't gonna be no 50 people, 20 people, 100 people. Every time you look up, going to no state penitentiary and get no husband or get no wife. Usually when a person is married, man and wife, been married 10, 15, 20 years, and the man go to prison, the woman visit him a few times, but after a year or 2 years, they usually will divorce them because they say, I want my man at home with me. I need somebody to help with these kids. But we'll turn right around and go marry somebody been in prison for 20 years, done killed 20 people, and got a life sentence, and we'll marry them, cook separate if it permitted, and go up there and take it to them. Or we go up there on business son and have a conjugal visit. Okay, how is that equally yoked? We need to seek God about what we're doing. Nobody wants to just sit down and just tell the truth and speak truth. They say, well, you got to be wise to win souls. And when you talk to people, you don't hurt people's feelings. People are being destroyed because they're making wrong choices. People are being destroyed because they don't want to marry, they want to shack. People are being destroyed because they choose the wrong woman or the wrong man and won't listen to their bishop, won't listen to their apostle, won't listen to their mother, won't listen to their father. Bring your a man that you like, that you going out eating steaks and hamburgers with. Bring around your father. Bring around your mother. Bring that woman around your mother that you want to marry. And let your mother look at her. Let your father talk to the man. Your father played all kind of games. Or done grew up. He done seen things. I mean, he ain't no baby. He understand a man when he see a man. He understand a man with the right intention. Let him talk to him. Oh no, most of the time they said, no, I want to meet your parents. No, see, what they got to do with us married? You love me and I love you. No, don't let them trick you like that. You bring your husband to be around your father, or the one that want to shack. You bring him around your father, and let him talk to him, and he gonna say, "Well, look, I don't think he a good choice," and he explain why he don't think he a good choice. 9 out of 10 times, your father gonna be right. And if you go against your father's advice, you will live to regret it. If you go against your mother's advice, young women, you will live to regret that, because they can see it. They understand this. He's scared to come around your bishop, around your pastor. He don't want to come to church and meet the folks. We can get mad. What they got to do with that? They can't pick for you. Well, can't nobody pick for nobody. But they can give you good advice. You get ready to buy a car. You don't know much about a car. You get somebody that knows something about a car and take them with you on a car lot. You say, deal with this salesman for me, because I don't understand. You get your father to do that. And he make a good deal for you, because he know cars. He been driving forever. And you'll get him to look the car over. And it's just this a machine, this material thing. This thing, in your lifetime, you can probably buy 4 or 5 cars. But you hoping when you marry, you get one man or one wife they're going to love you and respect you, and you can raise your kids together. You can take them to school together, soccer practice together, football practice, a band or whatever. You have a loving family. But now you'll sit around and want to just play house, and everybody else going along raising their family right next door to you, and they doing good, and you struggling. People say, well, I may get a bad husband. Well, if you got the right intention, you're going to get a husband just as good as you. You seek for a husband or wife. You lay out what you want. You know in your heart what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to love you. You ain't necessarily looking for somebody that got a whole lot. It's good. It's a plus if they got a whole lot. If they got their own business, they got their own this and that, that's good. But you're looking for somebody that you can get along with. You're looking for somebody that'll love you for you. Not for how fine you are. Man, not how much you got. Then you build a relationship together and accumulate wealth and prosperity together. And you 50-50. And a man can't say, I gave you this. See, one thing that happened back in the past, in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 30s, and go further back, when the man had sole authority over the woman, he was making a living, doing everything. Then he felt like, well, woman, whatever I do, you do what I tell you, because I'm the breadwinner. I pay the cost to be the boss. Well, it don't work like that. Then he'll say, well, long as I take care of these bills and you ride and you in a house, I can go ahead and do what I want to do. No, it ain't all right for you to go out there and have 50 kids because you're supporting your home. That's your job to support your home. When you took this young lady hand and married and holy matrimony, that's your responsibility. That's your obligation. And that's your job as being a human being. Even if you ain't a Christian, you got people who don't even believe in God, they marry and they have successful marriage because they respect each other. And they understand the principle of marriage. They understand the principle of loving another person. And they are married. And they live 80 years, 90 years together. And they bless. We have to seek God. That God will open our eyes up and let us not just look for some eye candy. Look for somebody just put on your arm. Then everybody can look at and think, ooh, they so pretty. Well, they usually don't work. You want somebody to have some loyalty. You want somebody to have some respect for you. You want somebody that when you get old and lose your shape, when you get old and you can't work and make the money you used to make, you want somebody to love you anyway. You want somebody to sit right there and raise your grandkids, not molest your kids. You don't want to go get somebody that got to have a woman that got to exercise his flesh and ain't learn how to control his flesh, and then he'll fool with your daughter. You don't want this. You don't want a woman that can't control herself and she'll deal with your son or deal with your kids and have incest and all. You want somebody to have more. You want somebody that is godly. You want somebody that have respect for life. You want somebody that can respect your kids, especially if you've been married before, or if you had not been married before, and you happen to have some kids, young girls, 9, 10, growing up. You don't want to marry somebody that everybody see he want to coat, and you got to go to work and leave them at home with him, and he do things that he shouldn't do. Vice versa, you don't want a woman that put her hand on your young boys and mess their minds up. That's why it's good to marry. Ask God to direct you and lead you and give you the mate that will please him. And a lot of times it may not be the woman may not look like you think she should look. Usually when you go get a beauty queen and go get somebody so pretty you can't stand to look at her, usually they're gonna break your heart. The same way with a man. You get a man too pretty. We look at folks sometimes, we say he too pretty. He ain't gonna make no good husband. Why? Because he too pretty. He think he pretty as you are. And sure enough, when you get here, everybody else think he just as pretty as you are, and they're gonna pull after you. So it's best to seek God and ask God to direct you. Not necessarily let your pastor pick for you. Can't nobody pick for me. I'm gonna pick for myself. If I make a mistake, it's gonna be on me. Now you say, I thought you said get your pastor opinion. I will. You get your mother opinion, and you go by it because you know they got sound judgment. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. But choose wisely. Be informed. You be informed when you get ready to go buy a house. You even look in the neighborhood you're gonna buy a house in. You look in the neighborhood, you see a lot of folks standing on the corner. You sit there for a minute. You see that people selling drugs there, and you got 5 or 6 joints in that neighborhood, that community. You probably ain't gonna buy no house there because you said this is not a good community. I want a community with a good school system, and I don't want to just go into a school system that they don't flunk the state board examiner and they need to pull up. You're gonna go try to find a school system that meet all the codes and they will give your child a good education. Well, if that's true, shouldn't it be the same way with a husband and wife? You want to look into this thing. The day is past now for us making excuses and just jumping into things. When you're too desperate, you get in trouble. Money-wise, when you need money, if you're too desperate, you're gonna make wrong decisions. If you want a husband or a wife, you're too desperate, and you can't wait on God. You can't get no advice. You can't look well to your decision, and you can't wait a minute and let God speak to you. You're gonna get in trouble. It's a bad thing to be too desperate, too impatient. Well, I've been alone for a long time and I want a husband. Well, God knows what you need. Put that in his hand. You put your finances in his hand. You ask God to work it out, and he work it out. You seen a house you wanted. You prayed about it. You got a anointed handkerchief, and they wrote on a handkerchief, God bless her with a home, your new home. Somebody came and prophesied to you about your new home. Well, let somebody prophesy to you about your husband. Otherwise, what I'm telling you is, don't put them off limit to the people that can see, the people that can understand. You got folk, they teaching folk not how to get married. Come on here. You of age, and you should understand what you like, what you want, what you need, and put that before God in prayer. Talk to God and say, God, look, I need your help. And Lord, I want to be the man that you calling me to be, but I want a wife. See, everybody not like the Apostle Paul that is okay without a wife. Jesus himself said, some men made eunuch by the king. Some because they just choose to be. He said, but all men can't do this. So if you're the man or the woman that need physical company, and you want somebody to build a life with, don't shack, get married. Don't put yourself out here for failure, but get married.